Hi friends, welcome to my prediction series for UPSC Prelims 2026. In this series of video, I'll be discussing some important topics for next year's prelims by linking the PYQs with current affairs. I'll be only picking very important and expected topics, so please do follow each and every lecture of this series. So guys, one PYQ theme which UPSC repeats every year is anniversaries. You can see this question which came in 2023 prelims question. You can see how they have asked a question on self-help group, and you know self-help group was started exactly 30 years before in 1993. So you see this question came in 2023. Similarly guys, you can see this question on corporate social responsibility which was asked in 2024, and guys you know that CSR rules were framed in India in 2014. So 10 years after this was asked. So any act or any initiative of Government of India which completes 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 25 years, they are very important. This is called anniversary theme. Okay. So this year there is a very important act which is completing 20 years, and there is a very high probability that will come in next year's prelims examination. The reason is guys, that topic has been repeated in PYQs multiple times, and also it was in news because of very important initiative recently. So let us see what is that topic. So that topic is Forest Rights Act. Guys, recently Center has sanctioned to set up 300 FRSLs to facilitate the implementation of Forest Rights Act. Okay, so why is this topic important guys? You know that Forest Rights Act has already been asked by UPSC in the prelims examination multiple times. You can see in 2021, this is 2021 question, at the national level, which of the nodal agency to ensure effective implementation of the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act, which is Forest Rights Act? The answer was Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And you can see in 2013 also there was a question on which body is responsible for initiating the process for determining the nature and extent of individual and community forest rights. The answer is Gram Sabha. So guys, Forest Rights Act which is completing 20 years because it was enacted in the year 2006, and next year you have prelims 2026. So there is very high chance that you may get a question on Forest Rights Act. So guys, Government of India has set up Forest Rights Act cells, okay, in all the blocks where there is tribal dominated population. You can see 18 states and union territories, this forest right cells have been created. Okay, so this has been created under the scheme Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. So this is a scheme of tribal ministry. So this cell is basically set up by tribal ministry. So before we discuss about the cell, you need to know little bit about this Forest Rights Act. Okay, so Forest Rights Act basically recognizes forest rights and occupation in forest land for scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers. Okay, so the individual rights are right to self cultivation and habitation on forest land, and community rights are grazing, fishing, access to water bodies, habitat rights for particularly vulnerable tribal group, seasonal resources, access for nomadic and pastoral communities, right to biodiversity and traditional knowledge, right to protect, conserve and manage community forest resource. Okay, there is also a right against eviction. There is also a right against evictions. Okay, and this entire act is the main body of implementation is Gram Sabha. This is very important. You can see this was a question in 2013 which was asking that which is the authority that initiate the process of determining the nature and extent of individual and community rights. Okay, so Gram Sabha has the final authority on right verification, conservation planning, halting destructive practices and local decision. Okay, so this right basically gives you individual rights and also community rights. This is very important, and you also have a right to right against eviction and right to rehabilitation. Okay, so this may come in next year's prelims examination. Remember this Forest Right Act cells, okay, will just assist the Gram Sabha in preparing the documentation of FRA claims. It is not empowered to intervene in the decision making of Gram Sabha. It is just assistance, okay. It's like a kind of assistant, okay. It is not it will not interfere, because under the Forest Rights Act, okay, Gram Sabha is the body which is responsible for initiating the claim process, okay. This, remember, this is very important. And also prepare this Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan, which was started by the tribal ministry for basically saturation, okay. This scheme was started for saturation. You can see here awareness and saturation campaign for tribal dominated villages, okay. So tribal dominated villages, all these kinds of schemes which is going on for tribal development, so creating awareness about them. You can see the objective was raise awareness of individual rights, entitlements and key government schemes, ensure doorstep delivery of documents and benefits, promote participatory governance through community mobilization, empower tribal youth as digital warriors, and conduct, you can see here, sickle cell disease awareness campaign, okay. These are the activities or objectives of this scheme, Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan. So basically the idea is to create awareness, and here also guys, through Forest Right Act cells, they are creating awareness about this act, because still the act has not been implemented properly. Why? Because people are not aware of the act. So I believe next year's prelims examination, they may ask you about the Forest Rights Act, or they may ask you about Forest Right Act cells, okay. These cells, okay, these cells are created by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and they are created under the scheme, okay. This is a scheme guys, Dharti Aba Janjatiya Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan, and it is only assisting the Gram Sabha. It does not have the power to intervene. This is very important. With this guys, I conclude here. So this is my LAQSHYA 2026 prelims mentorship. Every day I am giving 10 most important questions. Please do practice this 10 most important questions. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Take care.